Welcome to Happily Ever Afters, where love doesn't stop at romance. Join us as we share the tales of everyday magic and celebrate life's sweetest moments. Hear inspiring accounts of love, intimacy, and pure joy as we uncover the secrets behind true devotion and partnerships that really work. Brace yourself for a full-on heart melting. Here's your host, Carlos Clemente.
Hello, America. How are you? Welcome to the show. I'm Carlos Clemente, and let me introduce our beautiful co-host, Dorothy Lucy. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm here, and I'm still married.
Okay.
So therefore, apparently, I should be hosting this podcast.
Oh, okay.
30 years I've been married.
Wow.
I'm either
great.
insane or I should have this podcast.
There you go. All right. Okay. That's a good way to start. All right. Okay. Today we have a wonderful couple. They started out by not knowing each other, and now they have happily ever afters. We have Starr and Jeff Fair. I said that right, didn't I?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. They're both award-winning. They're both award-winning producers.
They both have Grammys.
Yes. All right. I've never even seen a Grammy.
Well, maybe they'll show us one or two.
All right. Welcome to the show. And you've got quite a story, especially since you met by fate. You were out working, and you ran into each other, and wow, what happened?
Well,
Well,
do you want to tell it or you want me to tell it?
you tell it.
Oh, well, I'll tell
You
mine
guys are so cute and polite.
Are there two different versions?
Always.
Sometimes the details, there's a couple of small changes, probably on my behalf, but we met on stage at Universal Amphitheater. Starr was playing with an artist that I was working with on his record, and he invited me to come see the show, and since Starr, this was her first gig, I think, with this artist.
My first one, and kind of my first kind of bigger tour as well.
Yeah, and he called me. He said, "Could you come over to the amphitheater and just make sure all the keyboard sounds are close to what we have on the record?"
Checking up on me.
Yeah, he had me checking up on you. Actually, there was three.
I think you were actually checking her out.
Well, that happened very quickly. Yeah, and there was three keyboardists that were playing that night: Eric Daniels, Wayne Lindsay, and Starr. And so I went to say hello to all of them, and I met Starr, and I was smitten immediately.
So you just knew? I mean, in a second?
I knew pretty quickly. It was kind of weird. I mean, I really knew a few weeks later when we spent a little more time together.
So I mean, love at first sight. You had all those feelings, and
well, I would say extreme like at first sight.
Lust at first sight and like at first sight. Okay.
And it was funny because during the gig, she was stage right and facing the middle of the stage. And I was off in the wing stage left, and she was playing, and she was smiling, and she was looking right at me, but I didn't know she was very nearsighted. So, I was a fairly shy guy at that time, and so I, encouraged me because I thought she was smiling at me the whole time.
You just thought this chick was looking at you, and
It was stupid. Yeah.
It wasn't stupid.
Well, you felt like a teenager,
Well, we were almost
when someone
teenagers.
looks
We were
at you.
pretty young. We were pretty young, and she was very nearsighted and had no idea.
Not very nearsighted, but
Well,
nearsighted enough.
She was nearsighted enough to mistake me for somebody else, a couple weeks later from about 10 feet I think. So,
Hey, I just got contact, so I'm just seeing the world for the first time too.
That's awesome.
yeah. So I think that's my
Yeah.
side of the story.
Starr?
Yeah. And well, I mean, everything that he said is exactly what happened. It was really exciting because it was one of my first bigger gigs. We were getting ready to tour with Whitney Houston on her first tour, and this was, I was 23 years old, or 22 at the time, I think, and was, I mean, I had been practicing really hard and playing in nightclubs and playing all over the place, but this was a really great opportunity and a great band. So it was really exciting. And then I really wanted to make sure that I had all the sounds from the record. So the artist, his name is George Howard. He's no longer with us. He was a wonderful soprano sax player.
Yeah, I know who he is. Yes.
Yeah. So he told Jeff that he should give me the sounds from the record. Yeah. So I went over to get them, and
this was a few weeks later.
Yeah. And I offered to pay him, and he goes, "Well, just take me out to lunch." So I said, "Okay." So I took him out to lunch, and then he said, "Well, I need to take you out to dinner for taking me out to lunch to pay for the sounds." And it was kind of cool because I really feel like it was kind of a very soulmate kind of moment because even though there wasn't, we weren't dating or anything, I just had this weird feeling that I was going to marry him when I first met him.
We both did. We both called our parents.
Called our parents, and he called his mom, and she's like, "Oh, finally you've decided to marry her," which was the girlfriend that he had when I met him. And he's like, "Oh, no, it's not her."
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you about that, because you were both involved with someone else at the time, and I don't know how serious it was or whatever, but how did you know that, okay, it's time to let those people go?
Well, mine, I can only speak for mine. Is we were kind of on the very much the downslope of the relationship. I mean, it was we kind of more or less split up. Yeah. So.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Again, a different version, slightly.
Yeah, and the person that I was dating wasn't serious. It was, so it was but it was somebody, that I was, dating kind of exclusively, but not. I never thought, oh, I'm going to marry this person.
Totally exclusively.
Not totally exclusively. That's true.
Okay, so you had these two relationships. You meet. What did you see in each other that was missing from the other relationships that you knew right away that this was going to work?
Oh, that's interesting.
For me, it was how much alike our visions and goals and the things we gravitated to and did every day were. We were essentially working together, when we first met, and that, aside from her just being incredibly beautiful,
And music has to be such a part of your romance and your relationship. I mean, Starr, you were on Arsenio Hall show, you traveled with Whitney Houston. I mean, you both have such rich careers separately and together.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was funny when we did that dinner of me taking him to lunch or him taking me to dinner. I remember we closed the restaurant down, and then we were sitting on the beach talking, and we were basically discussing waveforms on synthesizers and nodes and anti-nodes and how to program them. And
how romantic.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Right. But
she got it, though. I mean, she was.
But it's cool because he was doing something that was really interesting, that was, part of something that I loved, but not what I was doing. And then I think we both kind of complemented each other and appreciated and respected what each other was doing, which was really fun. And then when we got to work together and do stuff together, it really just we kind of anticipated each other's thoughts.
As I read through the different things about both of you, the one word that keeps coming up is collaboration. You guys are a collaboration, not only personally, but on the professional side. And how have you made that work?
Well, it's a new challenge every day. Everything is new. You come into a project and sometimes it relies much more on one person's talents than the other, or sometimes in the same project it shifts all over the place, and so you just have to try to be aware of what your assets are and what your partner's assets are, and how they can work best together.
Also, I think just having somebody you can trust, because I think when you're creating music or creating art in any way, you're just kind of letting stuff flow through you, and kind of just letting it all, just come out however it does, and without judgment. And it's really nice to be able to not censor yourself, because sometimes when you're with somebody that you don't trust that much, or you don't know that well, or you haven't worked with that much, you want to make sure that you don't look stupid, or you just want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward. But sometimes you have to look stupid, or play something, or write something that's not perfect, or that's not the right thing at that moment, but it leads you to that path of being something really cool. And
it's just looking stupid enough.
And so, I think that with Jeff, I know that he's not going to judge me or think, oh, she's terrible because she let herself go and play something or write something that she's shaping, as opposed to.
Well, I mean, creativity, it's a process.
Yeah.
And on, to add to that, I think that we tend to encourage each other to go outside of what we would ordinarily
for sure
see as our boundaries.
And your daughter is also an artist.
She is. It's exciting. She's releasing her first single tomorrow, dropping tomorrow from an upcoming EP, and we're super proud of her.
Tell us about her. Tell her. I mean, that's your greatest collaboration. So tell us a little bit about her.
That is, well, her name's Isolde, and she's 20, and she's been she's been
writing songs since she was about 9. I think.
I wonder where she gets that from.
Yeah.
No clue.
It was so funny when she was, I think, 2 or 3. We were listening to one of our favorite scores by the composer Ennio Morricone, and we were, I think it was Cinema Paradiso, or either that or the Mission.
Yeah.
And she was listening to it with us, and she's just a little tiny kid, and she said, "Who wrote this?" And we said, "Ennio Morricone." And she said, "Where does he live?" And we said, "Rome." And she said, "We have to go to Rome.
We must
go to Rome." So she's kind of been an otherworldly presence ever since she was a little kid. She's definitely very special and unique. And
when she was 13, she had a kind of a viral moment with a song that she wrote using part of Hillary Clinton's concession speech, and then, but we
the part with to all the little girls, never
girls,
doubt that you're valuable, powerful, deserving.
It was pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was a school assignment, but she ended up with Scarlett Johansson at Lincoln Center performing it at 13, which was kind of cool, and me with her. We put a bunch of girls together, and she's grown up to advocate, for being a strong young woman.
Yeah.
Beautiful name, too.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Any significance to that?
Well, Isolde the Fair is a character and legend. It's an Irish Celtic, yeah. And so she's, Isolde the Fair, Isolde Fair, yeah.
Because Jeff's last name is Fair.
The opera Tristan and Isolde, or Isolde, is written, about the characters.
You're in an industry
that's not why we named.
But that's not why we named her that.
I saw the name. I actually thought it was an Italian name because I'm Italian, and I just thought it was so beautiful. And then Jeff found out that there was a legend about Isolde the Fair, and so it was perfect.
It was another collaboration.
There you go. See, we got that word. You'll be using it from here on out. Looking at each other. Hey, we're a collaboration. Speaking of that,
the Italian.
All right, music is highs and lows. This industry, same thing can happen with the relationships. How do you make that work? How do you keep that energy? Because it's exhausting. All right, just dealing with music can be exhausting. So how do you take that and find the energy to grow together, to keep that happily ever afters moment? How do you do that?
Well, I think what you said is really the key, the growing together. I think that we have continued to be curious and excited about art and creativity and continuing to want to grow and continuing to want to learn. And when I learn something, I share it with Jeff. When he learns something, maybe we'll read something about anything, current event or art or a place, in the world, or music or anything. We really share it with each other.
Or a place not in the world.
Or a place not in the world. Who knows? But I think that's kind of the key is growing and being open to growing together. And for sure, I think there's a lot of ups and downs. And so, many of our friends say, how in the world do you work together?
That's usually after they meet me. Yeah.
and I feel like also it's kind of true. Like it is kind of challenging sometimes because you do know somebody so well. But I think we're giving each other a lot of space. You know? We both kind of do our own things as well sometimes, and that that's pretty rewarding. Yeah, I think.
Yeah. But that you knew in a moment that you were supposed to be together, and that you still are collaborating. Yeah. That you found your soulmate, and you kept each other. You held on.
Pretty rare, right? It's rare.
Especially in this business.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, I feel really fortunate because
I do too.
There's so many ways that cannot happen, and we're just so fortunate that we found each other and that we're on this journey together.
Now you've got all these awards. You've done all these different things. Bond. I like the Bond thing. I like that. That's really cool. Yeah. But you also did Peanuts. I didn't know that. And Zoolander. You had something to do with that.
Oh, Zoolander was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Zoolander, where they called us because we had done Bond.
Right. We were working at the time doing pretty much almost all of MGM's in-house movie trailers and their logos and themes and stuff like that. Yeah. And so Zoolander was a fun one.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a kind of project where, as I remember, where the studio that was creating the film and creating the advertising was kind of at the end of the road. They had tried everything, and they thought, "Oh, let's get those guys who did that updated Bond theme," and because they wanted it to kind of come in with a spy feel, and we had fun.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
Now you have just not only music, Starr, the Alliance for Women Film Composers. Tell us a little bit more about that and what your role is with that.
Well, it's an amazing organization that's incredibly dear to my heart. Started in 2014. It was the brainchild of Laura Karpman, who initially started it with Lolita Ritmanis and Miriam Cutler and Chandler Poling. Miriam, Lolita, and Laura are all wonderful composers and friends, dear friends, actually. And at the time, none of us really, there wasn't hardly any women scoring anything or that we knew of. And we went to this lunch and we all kind of sat around a table and looked at each other and went, oh my gosh, I didn't know you did that, or I didn't know you worked on this, or we just kind of bonded. And I think as you guys were mentioning, with this business and this world, it's a little bit cutthroat and competitive sometimes, but we really felt like we were supporting each other. And so the Alliance was really started with the idea that there would be a directory of women composers that anybody could look up and say, okay, I'm looking for a composer and I'd really like it to be a woman. And so I'm going to go online and go to this directory. So the directory, I think it's literally like 20 people.
Now it's 1,200.
We just had a meeting. We have, over 1,200 women composer members all around the world. And I was very honored to be the president from 2019 through 2021. We all have 2-year terms. And I'm still on the board. And it's just, just seeing the growth and seeing how it's really impacted the lives of so many composers. And of course it's, we're embracing all our brothers as well. But it's trying to go to some kind of parity and equality, because the numbers are very, very low.
We're running out of time here, but I'd like for you to give me a quick wrap up of what you're doing now, and what is your advice to others so they have their happily ever afters moment. What's your advice?
Ooh.
Go ahead.
Well, we're finishing up working on music for the Laguna Pageant of the Masters, which takes place in the summer in Laguna Beach, California. And we write a significant portion of the music for that. Okay. And it's played by an orchestra 7 nights a week from about July 7th to the end of August in a amphitheater that's kind of like a mini Hollywood Bowl. And
getting ready to go to London to work on an album.
Yes, that's right.
The symphony there at Abbey Road.
At Abbey Road, that's right.
With an artist named Kit Wakely. And so we have another, we're in the middle of a couple of
other
record projects
too, as well.
But advice, I think just trusting your gut, because I feel like we all have an innate sense in our being that's drowned out so much of the time because of all the noise, and all the telephones and social media and traffic and everything. And I just think that there is a voice in each one of us that kind of guides, an inner voice that guides us. And at least I think for us, that was just having a feeling or an impression and saying, oh, okay. And then just knowing that it's a lot of work to have a relationship. It's not all just perfect or like it is in the first year or two or anything. And so I think it's just knowing that if you want to, if you want to continue, you have to listen and try. And it's a journey.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to take an impromptu road trip.
Yes.
There you go. Now, how do we follow you? Do you have a website or anything that we can keep track of you?
The best place is probably starrparodi.com. That's Starr with 2 R's, STARRPARODI. I spelled it right.
You did.
And then we both have pages on Spotify as well.
Right, under our names.
Under our names. And a lot of it is music that we've done together, and some of it is music that's just each other's own.
And we'll be listening for your daughter's new music.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Her name's Isolde Fair, and her song's called Strip Away, and it's dropping tomorrow. So
actually later today at most places.
Yeah.
It's midnight already in Europe. So yeah.
It's exciting.
Well, thank you. Thank you for taking time to be on Happily Ever Afters. I've enjoyed it. Dorothy's enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it. And look down the line, hopefully have you back on. We'll have your daughter too. So we can talk about more Happily Ever After moments. How's that?
That'd be so cool. So
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
All right. Thank you very much. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
This show isn't only about your stories, it's also about mine. I hope to learn from these captivating tales of love to enhance my own role as a partner. Heartwarming stories or inspiration to enrich your own relationship. Life is all